My daughter humiliated me in front of everyone. Then I disappeared without saying goodbye. If you like my videos, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and share these stories. Manuel was 65 years old, with hands that belonged to a man who had lived too much life to keep explaining himself. His joints were deformed, his skin hardened from decades of heavy labor, and his nails permanently stained with old grease that no soap could fully remove. Hands that had carried furniture, cleaned industrial kitchens, unloaded trucks in the rain, and driven night shifts for half a lifetime. Hands that had also learned how to braid a little girl's hair in front of a mirror because no one else was there to do it. Rosa died when Elena was 4 years old. That night in the hospital, Manuel held his wife's cold hand while the machines made intermittent sounds that would haunt his dreams for years. "Promise me something," Rosa whispered, barely breathing. Manuel leaned in. "Anything. Don't let our daughter feel alone." He swallowed. "I promise." Rosa died minutes later, and Manuel kept that promise for 30 years. He never remarried. He never truly thought about himself again. Every dollar, every early morning, every sacrifice was for Elena. The girl grew up watching her father leave before sunrise and return at night, exhausted, smelling of sweat, gasoline, and industrial detergent. And yet, he always found time. He made her breakfast, checked her homework, drew clumsy little sketches in her lunchboxes, applauded at school events even when he came straight from work without sleeping. When Elena turned 18 and was accepted into university, Manuel cried alone inside his car. Pure pride. The next day he took a second job. He didn't tell her. For years, he worked 16-hour days. There were nights he slept sitting inside a delivery van between shifts. Entire months where he ate instant soup so Elena wouldn't go without money. Winters where he wore torn shoes because he paid for his daughter's university books first. He never spoke about it. Elena never asked. Over the years, she began to change. At first, small discomforts. "Dad, that jacket looks like something a homeless person would wear." "Dad, you chew too loudly." "Dad, please don't talk about your jobs in front of my friends." Manuel smiled slowly. "Of course, sweetheart. Sorry." Then worse things came. One night Elena watched him fixing the apartment sink. "Can you call a plumber? Honestly, I'm embarrassed you keep fixing things like we're still poor." Manuel lowered the wrench slowly. "I just wanted to help you." "You're not helping. You make me look bad." The sentence hung in the air. He just nodded. Later that week, Elena went out to dinner with coworkers. Manuel called because he had cooked her favorite meal. She answered irritated. "What do you want?" "Just checking if you're eating at home." "I'm busy, Dad. I made the pasta you liked when you were little." Silence. Then a short laugh. "God, can you stop acting like I'm still 10 years old?" The call ended. Manuel stared at the dark screen for several seconds. That night he ate alone. The disrespect became routine. As Elena rose in her consulting firm, she stopped introducing him as her father. "Who is he?" a colleague asked. Elena hesitated. "A relative staying with me for a while." Manuel heard it from the kitchen. He said nothing. That night, he barely slept. One Sunday, Elena exploded because he had parked his old car outside the building. "Don't you understand this neighborhood has standards? I just came to drop something off. People think you're a homeless man." Manuel lowered his gaze. "I'm sorry. I'm always ashamed because of you." The word, ashamed, pierced him deeply. Still, he kept helping her. He secretly paid part of her apartment deposit. Covered a credit card debt she never knew he had discovered. Sold Rosa's jewelry to pay for Elena's postgraduate studies. He never asked for gratitude. The final humiliation happened at a Saturday night gathering. Elena hosted an elegant party in her apartment. Important company people attended. Polished laughter. Expensive wine. Luxury perfumes. Manuel wore a clean but old shirt and stayed quietly in a corner. He overheard conversations he didn't understand. Markets. Investments. Travel. At one point, he walked in to place a tray of food. One guest smiled awkwardly. "Thank you, sir." Before Manuel could respond, Elena laughed. "He feels useful when he does things like that." People laughed. Later, while walking toward the bathroom, he heard her voice again, louder, sharper, crueler. "My life would have been completely different if I had a more educated father." "You had it that bad?" "I grew up around someone with no ambition. My childhood smelled like grease, sweat, and poverty. Did he even do anything? Just survive. Some people are born mediocre. Something inside Manuel broke, not loudly, quietly, like an old rope snapping. He went to the bathroom, looked in the mirror. Tired eyes, wrinkles, deformed hands. For the first time in years, he didn't see a strong man. He saw someone exhausted. When he came out, Elena stopped him. Don't start telling stories about your sacrifices. Nobody wants to hear that. He nodded slowly. I understand. Sometimes I feel like I have to apologize for you. That was the last thing. That night, Manuel opened an old closet. He took out a worn cardboard box and placed it on the table. Inside, he organized decades of his life. Double-shift pay slips, work contracts, bank receipts, university bills, medical reports, debt notices, photos of him sleeping in a car, letters he hid so Elena wouldn't quit school, pawn receipts for Rose's jewelry, transfers, notebooks tracking every expense, childhood drawings, Father's Day cards, and a note that read, I love you, Daddy. Quote. He also placed a USB drive. Videos of Elena as a child, Rosa singing in the kitchen, himself working at night, and a recording of that party. Every word, every laugh. On top, a white envelope. The letter. I never needed you to be proud of me. I only wanted you to be happy. Forgive me for not giving you a better life. Forgive me for my worn-out hands. Forgive me for always smelling like work. I slept in cars so you could sleep in a dorm room. I worked while sick so you could finish school. I sold your mother's memories to build your future. And I would do it 1,000 times again. Not because you were perfect, but because you were my daughter. I won't bother you anymore. Don't look for me. Live well. Quote. Manuel closed the envelope, took a small suitcase, and left before sunrise, quietly, without a sound. Elena found the box at noon. At first, she dismissed it. Then she read. Then she collapsed to her knees. Then she cried uncontrollably. The USB confirmed everything. Her own voice, her cruelty, her shame. She tried calling him. Once, 10 times, 50 times. Nothing. Manuel had vanished without a trace. She called hospitals, former employers, neighbors, distant relatives, old contacts. She visited places he once worked, shelters, bus stations, checked records, hired private help. Every lead ended the same way. Silence. The search slowly turned into guilt. She wasn't just looking for him anymore. She was facing everything she had said, everything she had done, everything she had rejected. Years passed. 8 years later, the call came on a Tuesday. Your father has passed away. Silence. He spoke about you every day. The will was simple. Everything went to Sophia. Elena didn't argue. She didn't have the moral strength to. Not because she had no right, but because she understood she had lost that right long before. Later, she remembered the box. She opened it one last time. And found a final note she had missed. Small, handwritten. I searched for you my entire life as your father. You only searched for me after I stopped being yours. Quote. I don't hate you. I never could. I just left before you learned how to look at me without shame. Quote. Moral. Regret comes when there is no time left to repair the damage.
The journey doesn't end here. If you want to keep discovering more stories and surprises, subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. I promise what's coming next will be even more exciting. See you in the next chapter.
El viaje no termina aquí. Si quieres seguir descubriendo más historias y sorpresas, suscríbete a mi canal y activa la campanita. Te prometo que lo que viene será aún más emocionante. Nos vemos en el próximo capítulo.